happening? Look who's in Times Square, you boy! Hey, for your consideration, for your Grammy consideration, Best Progressive R&B Album and Best R&B Performance, your boy Matt B, and the B stands for Billboard. Hey, y'all go check out my EP, No Days Off, and it's for your consideration, so I hope y'all love it.
You got some really cool shit out there, so yeah, that's awesome to hear. Like, it transcended, kind of made the realms of the world before it came back home. That's crazy.
Right, right. But you know what they say, like, you always bigger outside of your hometown than you are in your hometown. Like, you know, it takes that in order for people to realize, like, oh, this nigga is the shit. Like,
when we hug these mics, we get healthy.
You're watching the Mighty Healthy Podcast. Hi, I'm Jeff. My friends call me Jefé.
Who Diss?
All right, Who Diss? We're here. I see you're still setting up. I guess you're still getting adjusted to the Zoom thing. Let us know when you're good.
I'm trying to get better. I'm trying to get better angles is all. You know, I mean, I should have a mask on to be more appropriate to you guys, but you know, I'm trying to do my best I can. Guys working on all of it slowly, for sure.
You gotta go get a brick. You outside, go get a brick from the garden. And set your phone up.
That would help, I think, probably.
Oh man.
Don't mind me while I adjust things.
All right. Anyway, while Who Diss gets his looks together, his angles, he wants to look good for the gram and everything. We have Matt B here. Matt B is an R&B artist. He's released 2 EPs in the U.S. He's currently working on his debut album, which is going to be released in the U.S. He also has projects that he's released outside of the U.S. in Japan, and we're going to talk about all that. But before we get into it, Matt B, please introduce yourself.
Yo, what's up, everybody? This is your boy Matt B from the Chi-Town, Southside, born and raised, and yeah, we just gonna get into it, man. We gonna go ahead and have some fun with it today, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Sure.
I'm very into your story because you have it. It's like the way I see you put your business together. It's all like family oriented or in-house. Like from what I tell, your wife is your manager, right?
Yes, sir.
Why did you go that route? Like why keep it so tight knit?
Well, I ran through the gamut, man. Like, she wasn't my first manager. I probably had maybe like over the past like 6 or so years, maybe like 4 or 5 other managers. But then I realized, like, you know, if you want to build and if you want to be successful, it's best to keep it in-house because then you know what you get. Like, I mean, you know, I know that she's down to ride for me. I know that she's down to make sure that things are operating smoothly, and that might not be something that I can get from an outside party. Not saying that it's not possible, but just in my own personal experience, this works for me better. I mean, it's kind of like the royals in England, right? You know how all the royals used to marry their cousins and everything like that to keep the wealth in the family.
Yeah.
Like, we trying to keep all the bread in the house. You feel me? So,
And you guys also have the record label together. I know it's Vita. It's Latin, right?
Yeah, it's Latin. It means life.
Life. Yes. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. I see you.
Yeah. But so she's your manager. You guys have the record label. Is it completely independent, or are you working with majors? Because how is it that set up?
So it's a completely independent label. However, we have had label partnerships in the past. Okay. I partnered with a label out in Japan. The name of that label is Starbase. And then also for a brief period of time, we also partner with Priority Records, which is the subsidiary of Capitol Records. Yes. So, you know, I feel like having the label allows me to kind of spread my wings, and then it also acts as a covering for me as an artist, because that way I'm not signed directly to any label other than my own. I signed myself on some bullshit, like, you feel me? Yeah. So I'm not accountable to any other label. And, you know, if the labels have an issue with what I'm doing, then they can just go through the powers that be. They're never going to be able to directly affect me as an artist, and we did it that way on purpose.
Good move. Now you mentioned Japan. That I mean, I'm very like into your story. You started out in Japan. Like how did that happen? How were you able to like start your career out in Japan, being from Chicago?
So, man, I wish I had a crazy story, bro, but like the internet is crazy. So, so like I uploaded my records onto YouTube, and they just sat on YouTube for maybe almost 2 years. And then from there, like a random label from Japan just hit me up. The name of the label was Starbase, and they were like, "Hey, these 14 songs right here, we love these records. We want to make this your first album." So, you know, I'm thinking inside of my head, like, boy, they about to stain my ass. Like, you know what I mean? Like, this can't be real. But you want to know what? Like, you know, I put it in God's hands, and I was like, you know, nothing ventured, nothing gained. So I went ahead and signed a contract, and like the rest is history. I ended up with 2 #1 albums on iTunes Japan for R&B. I also ended up getting distributed in over 1,500 stores across the across all of Japan, and they had like big billboards of me up and in-store displays and all types of shit. It was crazy. So they were just like sending me pictures because I didn't go out there, but they were just sending me pictures and stuff. So it was crazy.
Nice.
That's the thing about like in China and in Japan, like that fan base. If you couldn't get that, that's a strong fan base to have. I mean, it's the same even in sports. Like some of the sports athletes out there, they're like God. So if I could imagine, like, and you did like 158 million streams. Is that it?
In China, which is just something completely random. Like that wasn't even a part of my original deal with the Japanese label, because they were only supposed to distribute in the territory of Japan. So what happened is somehow my music ended up getting onto the web somewhere in China. Somebody uploaded it, and now on their platform NetEase, I have over 158 million streams on one song. One song. Not on the album, one song. So if you were to collectively put all the streams together from all 14 records on the album, I mean, there's really no telling how many streams I might have. So that's crazy, isn't it?
Nice.
That's the power of the internet. I think that's amazing. I think that's amazing. Who this? You're still getting yourself together there?
I'm still wrestling with my phone. Yes. Cooperate. Sorry. So unprofessional.
I mean, at this point, maybe he might as well just go ahead and hold it. That's what he might.
I know.
Finally, hands-free, fellas. I'm good. I apologize.
Hey, there we go.
All right. Yeah. Now, there's some other things, but now with the music that you're putting out now, is it also being streamed in Japan and China, or is everything now solely US?
So the music that I'm putting out now definitely is global. I'm starting to really pop now in India too, which is just super weird. so in Africa as well. So the streams are starting to come in those territories. And then we did something a little different. We partnered with the name of the label is called Foundation Media. And they're based out in New York. Obviously, we did the same type of deal structure as we did with all the other labels, where still we maintain control. But at the same time, they were able to do right by us, especially me as an artist, where they're able to distribute across the entire world. So now we've kind of tied up the loose ends, made sure everything is copacetic, especially in areas like China, where China is China. Like, like they got different rules from us, bro.
Yes, they do. Yeah.
They got different rules. So I mean, we was figuring all that out and all that. So
but once you get, the way I see it, like once you have that as your fan base, that's a good way to put out music, because you have. I know those fans, they're loyal. You know, it's different. It's different in the U.S. because it's kind of sometimes the fans are a bit fickle. You know,
man, they finicky, bro. Yeah, and I love my U.S. fans, but man, they like little bugs. Like when you turn on the porch light, wherever the porch light goes is where everybody goes. Like, oh, he hot right now. Like, you feel me?
Yeah.
So true.
Yeah, right.
I got a question actually though. Since you brought up, of all places, India is like getting put onto you or actually showing you love like that, I would think, of course, thinking in my reasoning, India would have a stronghold of its own music, its own genre, kind of like, no outside influence per se. So how heavy is your presence, or how big are your numbers in India in this case, if you know?
So I don't have anything definitive about how big my numbers are in India, but what I will say is that, like, bro, I'm getting like 100 new followers a day from India, which is just like crazy. And they're constantly DMing me, constantly reposting and
Hello,
tagging
brother.
me and all types of stuff like that, and saying that they love the new stuff that I'm putting out, like you know, the Go Hard single and Spoil You and Deep and all that. So like they just rocking with it. So it just really just came out of nowhere. But I'm rocking with it because they're still a part of the continent of Asia. So I figured, like, I'm just gonna go clean up shop once all this COVID shit ends. Like, I'm gonna go hit Japan. I'm gonna go hit China. I'm gonna go hit India. I might swing by Africa. Like, you feel me? And then shit is popping in Brazil as well. So I mean, you know, I'm global with it at this point in time, and I'm really grateful for that.
Yeah. And in the US, you have 2 EPs. You have No Days Off, which you just put out, which last year, and Virgo. I know who this. You're gonna like this because you're a Virgo, right?
Oh, right, so and I got another EP too. I got what was the name of that EP? Rise. There we go.
Yes.
Yep.
Oh, okay. Yes.
Yeah, which was produced by Cox, by Bryan-Michael Cox. So
yes. Yeah. Okay.
Nice.
Now,
Virgo was the first one I went to, obviously, because I'm a Virgo, so I wanted to catch the vibes, you know,
another fellow Virgo.
We just fell out the season, so shout outs to you for that. I know we're in Libra of all time now, so they get some props, they get some love, but we don't really coincide, you know.
That's dope. I felt the energy. I felt the Virgo energy.
Exactly. I hope you did.
Now, Rise. That was produced. That's 4 tracks produced entirely by Bryan-Michael Cox. How did that relationship come about?
Bro, like, God is amazing, bro. He's really been opening up doors for me like crazy. Like, initially I met his cousin, Donnie Scantz. He was really one of the first like really heavy hitting producers that I worked with on the US side. And then from there, he was like, you know, kind of flirting around with maybe introducing us to Cox. That didn't end up working out. But then we had somebody else on our team, and he was like, you want to know what? Like, Cox is at this party right now. I'm going to slide through. I'm going to see what's popping. He played some of my music for him. He was like, bro, like this is dope. Where's he at? Like, he was ready to record right there. So so we set up a you know, like a session and all the rest of that shit in LA. I ended up flying out there, and like we knocked out the EP, and from there Cox was like, yo, we got to do an album. We got to do 2 albums. We got to like he was geek. So I knew I did something right.
Nice.
No, and describe to us from Rise up into No Days Off. I see like your music has like evolved, or you've experimented in each project. Like, what was your mindset from going from Rise into No Days Off?
Well, I feel like I'm an eclectic artist, so I'm pulling from all genres of music, and for me, it's about where I am at the time. So, like, you know, I'm R&B all day, like, you feel me, but I'm always going to infuse other sounds into it, whether it be hip hop feel or whether it be more of a pop R&B sound, or whether it be more traditional in my feelings R&B records, like, you feel me. So that's what Rise was more of a traditional in my feelings R&B record. But then again, like, you know, I'm from the south side of Chicago, bro. Like, you know, like, you know what, I'm sure you've heard stories about Chicago, like, you feel me. So so that's in me. So it had to come out, and it had to come out in a creative way. And that's what No Days Off was. That EP was a representation of who I am as an artist, where I come from, being Chicago, infusing those different sounds of jazz and traditional R&B and hip hop, and just making something just super dope and something super relatable to people who are from the Chi and abroad, who appreciate the Chi-town vibes.
So how does that work out, considering where you're from? I'm sorry, Jefé, but considering where you're from, the South Side, as you specified, why, I guess the common question would be, why didn't you go the route of the rapper or MC instead of doing what you do instead, which is your own unique lane? And have you gotten any flack for it from anybody from the South Side as well? Initially, let's say.
You wanna know what? Like, I was brought up in a time where, you know, like Usher was popping. Like, you feel me?
Yes.
Like all the rest of these artists, Neo, all the rest of these like just dope artists, male and female, Beyonce, you know, with the whole single ladies and all that. So it's like everybody aspired to sing, like, you feel me? And I already had the gift, so I really could have gone either way, low key, like, because I write and all that. So really, I could have gone the rap side, but and that's what I kind of infused because that's in me. So I infused that into my records for sure. But then at the same time, like, I mean, if I got a gift being the music, being able to really vocalize, like, you know, I got to put that on the table. I can't keep that in my back pocket. And like I've gotten some flack for it for sure, like especially like earlier on, because there's not that many R&B opportunities in Chicago, surprisingly, and a lot of people are surprised by that. But like, you know, I'm going to clubs and bars and all that and performing earlier on in my career, and then it's like 3 rappers in front of me, and then I perform, and then 3 rappers behind me. So like, you know, some people weren't feeling that shit. Like, because I'm for the ladies, like, I'm gonna slow it down. And that's when I realized even more so, like, you want to know what, like, I got to make those records that not only cater to the ladies, but also, like, you know, you could turn up one time, like, you could feel good off of it one time. And that's really what I am trying to embody in all of my music. I'm trying to embody that feel good music, like, regardless of what you feel. That's what I'm trying to embody.
The two records that I like I love Delilah.
Oh, thank you.
But I wanna know Hold Me Down that you did with JIV. Like, that's another interesting relationship. Like, how did that record come about?
Yeah, that Hold Me Down record is crazy.
Yeah, I love
that. Like, that intro is just crazy. Like, every time I think about that record, I think about that intro. But we met him at one of those basically Grammy mixers or whatever.
Yeah. And
then from there, like, I was like, bro, you dope, bro. Like, please check out my shit. Like, you feel me? And then he was like, yeah, man, I'll slide. Or whatever. He checked it out, and he was like, bro, this is crazy. I'm like, bro, like, bless the record, bro. And not only did he bless the record for Hold Me Down, but he also did the intro for the overall EP, and it just really helped to just bring everything together because it's so dope. Because usually you put a rapper on shit, right? But this time we kind of flipped it up and we put a poet on it, which is just completely unorthodox. Flip the script up, out of the ordinary. And now, as it stands, we're in the midst of a 4-year consideration campaign for the Grammys for this year. So I mean, that's just like super dope. For the No Days Off.
Now, you were recently in Billboard magazine as well. You got the advertising for that. Now, do you have to like campaign to get the Grammy nomination, or what's the process for that?
When I would say definitely, like, it's industry politics for sure, but at the same time, it's like, you know, you're also just putting yourself out there, right? So it's like anything. It's like if you want people to listen to your music, you can't just like upload it online and expect people to listen. So you got to put yourself out there. And it's the same thing with 4-year consideration. In order to secure a nomination and then eventually a Grammy win, you got to put yourself out there in the best light and make yourself as visible as possible for the people who are members of the Recording Academy to be able to say, oh, this is dope. I want to check this out. I want to learn a little more. So this is all about strategy and all about just trying to put me as an artist into the best light. And that's a lot of strategy with just my team in general, my publicist and all the rest of that stuff. So we be working.
Yeah. You're watching the Mighty Healthy Podcast. I'm Jeff. My friends call me F.A.
Who Diss?
Now, who this? Any questions on your part?
I mean, considering you can sing, you can carry a tune, obviously. Japan has proof of that. And mainland China, or however Hong Kong likes to split things up, you know, because they're doing their thing over there as they do with communism and such. So do you feel like you could just delve if you want? Because I heard that sound, like you said, the influence of you could rap if you want to, you could kind of spit if you had to. per se, but do you feel like you kind of have like a little bit of a cheat code going in that sense if you want to just delve into like spitting a little bit? Because you don't have like that much of a responsibility to carry as far as a rapper would, just a rapper.
You want to know what? To an extent, yeah. But then, like, you know, at the same time, some people just ain't going to honor that shit. Like, you feel me? And for me as an artist, I just feel like I'm doing it for my fans. We trying to have fun. We trying to have a good time. We trying to just make some noise. We trying to catch a vibe. And anybody that doesn't like it, like, if you don't want to be in Matt B's world, don't be in Matt B's world. Like, ain't nobody forcing you. So, like, if you click on my page to put some hating ass shit or whatever the case may be, then, I mean, just thank you for the view, bro. Like, thank you. Like, what you doing? So, so I really feel like rappers have it easier than singers do in that regard because, you know, they throw the auto-tune on their voice, and then from there, they're like, you want to know what? I don't really sing, but, like, you feel me? I'm just kind of just doing my thing, and people honor that more. I feel like singers are held to a higher standard in that way versus, like, if I were to cross over and do more of the rap thing, motherfuckers would be, I feel like they'd be, like, super judgmental if they weren't my fans because they'd be like, man, what's this R&B ass nigga doing trying to spit bars? Like, you feel me? And that's not saying that I would feel some type of way about that, but it's just, like, I feel like anybody that's not my fan would more than likely have that reaction because people are hip hop is like, it's a culture, bro. Like, y'all know that.
Yes. Yeah. It is. It's one of those. But you know what's interesting about it as a culture? It's evolving, and there is a lane for you to be like R&B and hip hop. Like, I'm thinking about how Chris Brown does it. Chris Brown is able to do the R&B and hip hop, and he's done it in a way that he's done it in a way that not, I don't think anyone has ever done it that way. You know, like,
I for sure I agree. I feel like there's a difference. Like, I'm a rap sing all day. Like, you feel me? I feel like people ain't really gonna trip over that. But when you trying to spit bars, bro, like, y'all remember that Tory Lanez versus what's his name?
Yes, yeah. Yeah. I know who you're talking about.
Who am I talking about, bro? What's his name?
He just did that record. He just had a Shanti in his video.
Y'all know who I'm talking about, though.
Yes, I do.
But Tory Lanez versus Bro, right?
Yeah.
Like, come on, man. Like, after Bro did what he did, it was over. Like,
yes. Yeah.
After that happened, bro, like, after Bro spat his shit, like, for Tory Lanez, it was over with. They were like, bro, stick to singing, bro. Like, this hip-hop shit is not for you. And that's not to say that Tory Lanez don't got bars, but at the same time, it's just like, there's a threshold, bro. Like, there's the rap singing, and then once you cross that threshold and you really start rapping, like, niggas finna start holding you to a whole new standard.
Yes.
Yes.
And I think Chris Brown does a good job of kind of, you know, walking the line, not really going too far into the rap shit. So kudos to him for that.
I want to get back into the your work with the Academy, but before that, do you have any thoughts on the whole Tory Lanez situation? Since we're just talking about it, I know he put out an album yesterday. Any thoughts on that situation? And how, do you think he can bounce back? Do you think he's going to be received well?
I mean, you know, like, I'll never talk shit about another artist. I feel like I have my opinions, and that's what they are. And I'll say about Tory Lanez, like, you know, God bless him. I hope that he's able to figure it out. I've seen people come back from worse. I think we all have, like, people like 6ix9ine and all that. Yeah. So, I mean, you know, he's doing his thing. I'm sure that he has a dope team, and they going to figure it out. They're going to figure it out regardless. And as far as the same thing with Megan Thee Stallion, like, I hope that they all figure all that whole little situation out, and God bless them. Hopefully they can.
Well, that's a crazy comparison, though, because you got 6ix9ine, who we know how he got off by snitching and freeing himself for that whole lifelong sentence, whatever he was facing. So he didn't do anything but save himself, versus Tory, who allegedly shot at a woman that we're very fond of and familiar with, per se. So can you compare the two as far as, like, 6ix9ine's been able to bounce back, at least to his fan base, to a smaller portion? Is Tory able to do that, even though he's been linked to actually doing something?
I mean, I feel like with 6ix9ine, I mean, his case was crazy, bro. Like, he shot like Tory Lanez. He shot Meg. Like, like that shit was fucked up. If it's like, like I said, I don't know. I don't know all the details and all that, so I can't say definitively if it happened. If it didn't happen, like that's up for debate. I don't know because I wasn't there. But at the same time, like with 6ix9ine, like we know what he did because he said what he did.
Yeah.
So it's like my man's is wildin', and he said what he did on several occasions across several platforms. Yes. So, like, how do you bounce back from that? How does the hip hop community start embracing you from that? How do you come back and end up with the #1 record regardless?
Yeah.
Frozen. I think Elsa joined the meeting. He keeps getting frozen.
Oh. Yeah.
Well, I got a bad internet connection.
Okay.
What's happening? What y'all hear last?
You were touching on, I think, how 6ix9ine might have a hard time in hip hop in general bouncing back at all.
I mean, you would think that he would have, but I mean, he didn't. Like, people. I mean, he ended up with a #1 record, all that. I mean, he's been having issues here and there, but I mean, for the most part, he's just been doing his thing. So I mean, once again, I don't diss other artists. I know, like, it's hard out here, bro. So at the end of the day, you got to do what you got to do in order to survive. So whatever they do on their end, God bless them.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of goes back to the direction of No Days Off. It's really about just perseverance, like putting in the work, just like not allowing those things to derail you or to get you off course.
Right.
And I think that's what gives an artist the ability to come back. Like, Chris Brown came back just by constantly putting out music, like, and the music was good, so he was able to overcome all of that, all of the negative press. It's really that. I think it's just putting in the work.
Right, real talk. R came back several times.
Yeah. Yes, he did.
So,
he came.
Just the work. Yeah, it was just the work. Yeah.
Hey, I mean, so anything's possible. I mean, some of these niggas be out here. I know I won't name drop, but some of these niggas be out here doing horrendous things, but they still manage to have a career, and people still manage to separate the person from the music. So
yes, yeah. Now, let's get back to the Grammys. You're a voting member of the Recording Academy now. This happened this year.
Yes.
And you've been a member. You've been a member for the past 4 years. Now, exactly, how did that happen? Exactly, and what's your responsibilities with the Academy?
Well, for me, it was from the success that I had overseas and also the current things that I was doing back in like 2016. And from there, it was enough for them to realize, like, this guy is legit. This is a legit artist. He's really in the industry. He's really doing his thing, and we rock with him. So from there, they ended up accepting me after I applied. And it was just a great honor for me because I was like, yo, like, this is crazy. Like, the Recording Academy is the gold standard of the music industry. You feel me?
Yeah.
So that was just crazy to me. And then this year being able to be upgraded to a voting member, that's like the highest honor that you can have in the Recording Academy outside of holding some sort of office, like being the president or being the president of a chapter or whatever may have you. So, I mean, that to me, it is a huge honor, a big responsibility, something that I take very serious. And like I said, it's crazy. Like, I go to different Recording Academy events. Something else really dope that we did, I think it was last month, through the month of July or August. We were speaking to some of the representatives, some of the state representatives here in Illinois, in order to extend some of the funds, the music funds that they've been giving to musicians throughout COVID-19 and all that. So it was just really dope to even be able to address anyone in a political office and to be able to state my own personal opinions and views about what's been going on with COVID and how we can better the musician situations across the United States. Like, that's huge.
Yes, it is.
And then turning around and being able to vote and being able to sway the music industry from this point moving on, just based off of what I feel is hot and what I feel is worthy to be awarded a Grammy, like that's huge. So that's just the tip of the iceberg. Like, and then obviously the parties, being able to attend the Grammys and all the rest of that stuff, which is really cool. But I just feel like like I said, it's a big responsibility. I don't take it lightly, and I'm just honored that I'm even worthy of being a part of such a prestigious organization.
That's. I mean, in music terms, it's kind of like being elected to the Supreme Court. Like, you have so much influence, you know.
Right.
But you mentioned something that I've been thinking about, and I only saw like one artist try to make it work, which is artists surviving during COVID, because you're not really going out on tour, which is where artists make their money.
Right.
You were stuck at home for a while. I saw it was Jim Jones of the Diplomats who was able to like set up quarantine studios and work with artists and reach out. But I think that was a good point, that you were able to speak on behalf of musicians, because I'm sure a lot of artists lost money, a lot of touring stopped. They weren't able to sell some merch, you know?
Right.
Yeah, that's an interesting point. Yeah.
Yeah, and like I said, I don't take it lightly, because I mean, it's hard out here. I mean, you got to do what you got to do to survive. Even for me, like, I haven't even really been able to hit the studio like I'd like to, because I did most of my recording in LA or in Atlanta. So I recorded the No Days Off EP here in Chicago, but that's because I was in the midst of a tour and I was on break in between. So I was here back in the Chi, so I recorded that here, but usually I'm recording elsewhere. So I haven't really been able to do that. So I set up my whole little home studio, you dig? I mean, I'm in this bitch like building acoustic panels by myself, because I ain't trying to pay $200-$300 a panel, like, you feel me? And then I upgraded my Pro Tools, bought a bunch of new plugins, all that. So it's just about staying as creative as possible. But one thing that I'll say, like, I'm a jack of all trades. So I know how to use Photoshop. I know how to use Illustrator. I know how to use Final Cut Pro. I know how to use Pro Tools. I know how to mix. I know how to master. I know how I understand lighting. I understand videography. I understand photography. Like, I can do all that stuff. Now, that doesn't mean that I don't outsource, but at the end of the day, if I'm in a pinch, I got it. Like, you feel me? I don't have to worry about nobody else doing my shit. And that is just like the ultimate freedom, being able to spread your wings and being able to do what you want to do, how you want to do it, when you want to do it. Like, that's the ultimate power.
You're an artist's artist, Speaking of that, your artwork, did you work with other people on the creative direction of the album covers, or was that just solely your idea and you just gave it to someone and they put it together?
So I always have my creative input on all of the artwork that's being done, and definitely, like, it's not coming out unless I approve it. So for me, I didn't physically do it. I wasn't the one clicking the buttons, and that's not saying that I can't, because I can. But at the same time, like I said, like, if it's an opportunity for me to co-collaborate, I'm going to co-collaborate. I'll give you a good example of that. Like, we couldn't go and get the photos done for the for the Billboard publication, right? So, like, we at the crib, like, wifey has a DSLR, she has a Sony DSLR camera, she boop, taking the pictures and all that. Like, shorty's holding a little bounce board so that way I can get my lighting right, like, you feel me? And then from there, like, we go into Photoshop, we edit in the photo, we're making sure the dimensions are right and all the rest of that stuff, and submitting it to Billboard for the publication. So who else can do that? Like, you feel me? Like, to be able to go and shoot your own picture, then from there go and edit it in Photoshop, then format it in Illustrator, and do it to the right dimensions to be published in one of the biggest magazines for music ever. So now my wifey manager also has accreditation as a published photographer in Billboard. Like, you feel me? Like, that's crazy. So that's the type of freedom and the type of flexibility that you get when you put in the work and you gain the knowledge that you need in order to push things to the next level. And we're just continuing to elevate every single time.
Amen. Yep. That's all, putting all that work in. You know, I think a lot of artists could learn from what you're saying, because it's not only about putting the music. There's a lot of other efforts that you got to do. You got to show the executives that, yo, I know what I'm doing. I can put out my music. I can do what's needed to be done. You know?
Right.
That's very
Real
impressive.
talk.
Yeah.
Real
very,
talk.
very impressive. Yeah. Yeah. You're watching the Mighty Healthy Podcast. I'm Jeff. My friends call me Jefé.
Who this?
Now, Matt, I know you started doing the holiday cheer tour. Can you tell us a bit about that?
So the Holiday Cheer Tour is an annual cheer tour, an annual tour that we do where we go across the country and we spread good cheer to those who are less fortunate. So we're doing it for children in hospitals, and we're doing it for kids in orphanages, and and it's all free. So it's all pro bono. Like we're going to different smaller events and things of that nature, and just spreading the Christmas cheer. And it was dope because I had like a sack full of toys and I had on my little Santa hat and all that. And I'm giving the kids gifts and all that. So it was just really dope. And that's something that we also want to do for this year. Last year, something really dope that happened was I was in either the second or third largest parade in the country, known as the Magnificent Mile Lights Parade. They gave me my own float. I got to perform on national television. It was syndicated across all of the U.S. as well as Canada. So it's like the opportunities just continue to get bigger and bigger. It's unfortunate that we won't be able to physically go to these hospitals like Lurie's Children's Hospital or the Ronald McDonald House and things of that nature this year, and seeing these kids and really bringing the joy back into their lives for the Christmas season. But at the same time, we're going to figure it out, whether it be like doing it on a live stream or whatever may have you. We're gonna make it work.
Did you wear the Santa hat tilted, or did you wear it properly for the kids? I do it tilted just to be like, hey kids, check me out.
I had to put a little bit of sauce on it, you feel me? Like it wouldn't have been me if I didn't put a little sauce on it. But it was fun though, because like the kids reacted really well, and they were asking me things like, do you know Santa? And I'm like, yeah, I do. And you want to know what? Like, Santa told me that you've been a really good little girl, or you've been a really good little boy. And he told me, like, you want to know what? You've been so good that he wanted me to give you a couple of your gifts this year early. So here, you can go he gave me his bag, and he told me you can go into his bag and pick whatever you want. And they're just really happy about it and all that. So, I mean, just dope, man. Dope to, like, spread good cheer and to just give good energy and to give back in that way.
I got a dumb question about that, because are the gifts like wrapped where you can't see what they're getting, or are they reaching in the bag and actually seeing what they get?
They see what they get, and those kids are picky. Okay. Let me tell you, they
I was gonna ask.
And we wanted to wrap them too, but the reason why we couldn't is they said that the toys had to be brand new, because a lot of kids, like, they're burn victims, they have cancer, they have other issues where you're not trying to introduce other bacteria into their rooms, all the rest of that stuff. So they had to be brand new toys. They couldn't have been wrapped at home and all the rest of that stuff, because now you're like adding your dirty germs to the to the toys. So
I mean, I was asking because I can imagine how bad, let's say, you would feel if, let's say, a boy got by mistake like a doll or something.
Although I don't know, some boys might want a doll though. You never know in this day and age.
Nothing wrong with that, but
But yeah, for sure. I mean, most of the little boys definitely tended to gravitate towards like the trucks and and like Spider-Man or like the little figurines and all that. So it was fun though. It was fun.
And
did you get to sing it off of the children, and like throwing a little like vocals at them, like here's your gift or something like that?
Oh no. No, I mean we got to like vibe out with the kids. So like it depended on the hospital, it depended on the orphanage. Like sometimes we got to like set up full-fledged audio equipment, and they bring all the kids down into one room and I get to perform for them. Or sometimes we would go from floor to floor, room to room, and give each each kid their personal performance. So like I had an acoustic guitar player and he'd be doing his thing while I'd be singing Christmas songs. Or sometimes they wouldn't let us go in the rooms because it would be a ward where, like, you know, you just couldn't really do that. So, you know, the hospitals are big, the acoustics are really good. So we would just be like in the center of the hallway and we just be singing. And it was really cool because like then all of the doctors and the surgeons would start coming from all the floors because they wanted to hear it too. So it was really cool, man. It's just a really good memory to have each year to just bring that level of joy to kids and other people who are less fortunate around that time.
That's beautiful work.
He's still laughing at his little joke.
No, because I was thinking too, maybe some of the kids got like an early version of I Spoiled You or something because of Christmas and such.
No, they want to hear them Christmas records, bro. They want to hear Frosty the Snowman. They want to worry about Spoiled You.
I Spoiled You is the current single, right?
Yes, it is.
I know artists are sensitive about this, and they like to surprise us. But is there a name for the debut album? Did you give it a name yet, or is that still in the works?
The name is done. It's been done.
Okay.
The cover art is done. It's been done.
Okay.
And that's all I can say. It's dope, man. It's dope. And for me, like, you know, with something else I'll say is that, like, even though I'm in what would be considered like secular music, right? For me, I always use it as an opportunity to just spread my faith and just spread who I am at the core, and the fact that, you know, like, I was raised in the church. I was raised actually in the Lutheran church. I'm not Lutheran, but I was raised in the Lutheran church. And like, for me, it's always important to like put God at the forefront of what I do.
Yes.
So regardless of whether it's a new album or a music video or whatever, I'm always trying to figure out like, how can I bring that energy? So it's loosely tied to that. The title is loosely tied to that. And that's all I can really say.
Okay. All right. And one final question. I don't know if Who Diss has any more questions, but the 3 singles that you put out, will those be on the album?
Yes, they will. And I have one more single that's slated to drop soon off of the album. And it's a nice blend, right? Because I'm going hard off the go hard. Like, you know, I'm doing my little rap singing, but then at the same time, then you have Deep, which is like straight R&B, traditional crooning vibes. But then you have a record like Spoiled You, which is more so of like in the pop type of R&B realm, where it's a really feel good up tempo type of record. So I'm really giving people the diversity that I have as an artist, that, you know, I could do a little bit of anything. I could really be in any genre I wanted to be in, but instead I stay true to my roots, which is R&B, but I like to pull from the other genres.
Cool thing is too about your sound overall, everything I got to listen to so far is that you're right. You could fit in like almost any genre if you really wanted to, without too much effort, it sounds like.
Yeah, for sure. I appreciate that too. I appreciate that.
Yeah. Okay. Watching the Mighty Healthy Podcast. I'm Jeff. My friends call me Jefé.
Who Diss?
Matt B, thanks for taking the time to speak to us, introducing us to your music, all of the good work that you're doing. You're part of the Academy. You're recently featured on Billboard. I know you have the new album coming out. We're still waiting for the name, but a lot of work. You're putting in a lot of work.
You didn't spoil us enough with the name. That's not fair. You made us wait through all this time to meet you and get introduced to you properly, and now we can't even get the title.
Man, I just didn't do y'all right. Maybe next time though, right? hey, next time I come back on, hopefully it's with a Grammy award or at least a nomination, right?
We're going to be rooting for you. We're going to be rooting for you that you do get the nomination or the award. I think that's good work. That's good
Most
work.
definitely.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess quick question about the Grammys then. I mean, obviously we're still stuck in a pandemic. Who knows when it'll lighten up or when things will go back to normal per se. But are you hoping at all, any sort of chance at all for, what is it usually, February 2021?
Yeah.
There might be a live version of it or somewhat kind of audience attended version of the Grammys?
Oh yeah, I definitely would attend. Like I attended last year, or not last year. I'm sorry, this year's Grammy, right back in January, out in LA. It's always a really dope vibe to go there. So like, especially like, if I'm nominated, like, bro, I'm going to the Grammys. Like, what? Bro, I'm finna walk the red carpet. I'm finna act the fool. Y'all finna see Chicago come out. Like, you feel me? I mean, yeah, so I think that I know there's been talks of having a smaller version of the awards. They're not sure exactly how they're going to do it, but one thing's for sure, like it's going to get done, and I welcome it, and hopefully I get to be a part of Grammy history for this year's Grammy as one of the nominees and potentially one of the winners. So,
yes, yeah.
And I guess one last specific demographic question as far as the slang is concerned. My first exposure to Chance the Rapper, your fellow Chicagoan, I think was on Ultralight Beam with Kanye. I heard of him before, but the first time I listened to him was that record. Is Oop the Bam common lingo in Chicago? Because I really like it.
Woo up the bam, yeah. That's common lingo, woo up. But that's more so like when you storytelling. Like, you feel me? Like, that would be like, man, you know, I went up to the store, like, Shorty's ass, man, she was saying this is this and that, like, you feel me? Woo up the bam, and then from there, like, we skidad, like, you feel like it would be a part of a story. Like, you feel me? That's how woo up the bam would work. Or like, you know, like, bro, like, dude and them, or bro, or buddy, or like all that, like tweaking and all that. Like, that's more so like with storytelling.
I liked it. I'm going to try to incorporate it best I can, but if I'm in Chicago, I don't want to get caught out there and get my card pulled out. Like, hey, you're not using it properly.
Well, leave that one alone and stick to the word tweaking. Then stick to that word. You'll be all right. You'll be all right with that. You can use that anywhere. You can use that on anything. So.
All right. You're watching the Mighty Healthy Podcast. I'm Jeff. My friends call me Jefé.
Who Diss?
Once again, Matt B, thank you for joining us. Thank you for introducing us to your music. Best of luck. Much, much, much success.
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And for anybody else that might want to find out more about me, definitely check me out. You can check me out across all social media platforms at Matt B World. That's MATTB World. And that's across Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, Twitter. Even if you want to throw it back super old school, you might have a MySpace, like, you feel me? So, or you can go to my website at www.mattbworld.com.
All right.